This kid will realize his dreams. You will not stop him. He will realize his dreams. He will. And if he doesn't pack up and leave, maybe he'll disrupt society, because he's not going to be happy to be suppressed. He's not going to be happy. This is a site which was developed in Greece called The Daily Secret. What The Daily Secret is, it's like a Groupon, but it gives you daily tips on what's cool and happening in your city, so that you can figure out what you want to do. It gives you insider tips on your city. And it started in Athens. There's one in Thessaloniki. There's one in San Francisco. There's one in Shanghai. There's one in Istanbul. There's one in Vancouver. There's one soon in Tel Aviv and in 3 other cities. And this kid has just received $2 million in funding from US investors. Bye-bye, baby. Goodbye. Goodbye. He has a global business that we just lost. And global hope that we just lost. And global despair that we've just created. Because all of his peers understand that he's been financed outside of Greece. What do they start pursuing? Outside of Greece finance. Startup Chile. Startup Chile is a remarkable program which was put together by the Chilean government. And I'm going to show you a little video which will tell you exactly what it is, so I'm not going to even say a word about it. We've actually got somebody here who was part of the first group into Startup Chile, am I right? Would you like to quickly say a couple of words? Yeah, one of our under 40s. Michael, would you like to say a couple of words?
Sure. I didn't expect anything going into it. Didn't know anything about Chile. Probably, I mean, who here knows or they think they know anything about Chile or what it's, wine? I mean, yeah. Cold. Chile, right? Yeah. I got there, I was instantly amazed and surprised. Not only did they have everything ready for us, they made the whole process very simple. Sure. They made the whole process very, very simple. We got there, they greeted us with open arms. They had a wonderful office for us. I guess the most important thing besides the money that we got to put towards our businesses, which by the way was, they never told us how to spend it. They never told us, you know, obviously we had to prove that it was for our business and not for wine. But it really changed my view of Chile, and it really changed the connections that I made. And so now I feel like I have another home in Chile, and I feel like I could do business there, and I feel like everyone I was working with, there's probably 150 other groups that were there, maybe teams of 2 or 3, so do the math, you two guys. But now, not one class later, they're getting thousands and thousands and thousands of people trying to get into this program. And it's only been around for less than a year. And besides the business and on the entrepreneurial and innovation district that they're building, everyone that was part of the program is telling all their friends, Chile is not only fun, it's safe, it's cool, it's easy to travel, and you can start a business here, and no one will bother you. So that's all I wanted to say about it.
Cool. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Time to create the future. A very important concept is this thing over here called the diffusion of innovation through society. Okay? It describes how ideas, products, innovations generally make their journey through society. Just to explain it very quickly, those who will recognize this as a normal distribution curve, but those who don't, on this side you're sitting at 0%, right? A product or an idea comes in to society, it starts growing slowly, it then picks up rapidly, it goes up there, that's 50% exactly at the top. The rate of growth slows down, but it carries on growing until at the end there, it finally reaches 100%. Okay? So that's what that's all about. Very importantly, there's a big chasm here that if you don't cross it, you don't make it into mainstream. And very importantly, there's another chasm there. If you don't cross that one, you don't make it into that last little section over there. Okay? Let's take the iPhone as an example. Right on this side over here, you got the kids who will wait outside the Apple store for like 2 weeks in their tents, no food because they can't afford any food, and they just want to get the iPhone. They don't know what it looks like, they don't know what it's going to do, but they just got to have it. Okay? So right at the end, the beginning, you got those guys. Next up, you've got probably a lot of the people in this room who will say, that looks cool. It's got the internet. I can probably use that. I'm not sure, but I'll take the risk. Okay? And I'm willing to pay $500. I'll get myself an iPhone, and I think it's going to be cool. Right? But if it's not a big deal. So we take risk. Okay? And we go for it. We then, and this is important, because the chasm's there, remember, we then go for dinner and we pull out our iPhones. And our buddies say, wow, what's that? We say, it's an iPhone. And we start selling. We start working for Apple. Okay? We start working for Apple. And we show them the app, and we show them this. It's like, wow, I got to get one. They go and shop the next day. And all of a sudden, you've crossed that chasm, and you're into mass market. You're now on your way. You're doing very well. Okay? On the next little one over there, it's the guy who says, the neighbor's got one, I got to get one. Okay? The guys at the end are, what's an iPhone? Forget about them. You're never going to sell iPhones to them. Okay? Those are the guys right over there. So just forget about it. So that's how innovation spreads. It all starts here, and it grows, and it's got to jump over that chasm. It's very, very important. Okay? And here's the problem. Innovators and investors are sitting here, by definition. Public institutions are sitting there, by definition. Okay? There's a problem. There's a disconnect, a huge disconnect. And unless there's policy, and John was talking about this yesterday, for example, China's got policy to force innovation. These two cannot meet each other easily. Okay? And in Greece, that connection is very big. So these guys need to come down and connect on this side. You can't expect these guys to go and connect there. Ain't going to happen, because these are innovators, remember. Okay? Don't hold your breath. Ain't going to happen. Greece needs ideas. Greece needs an identity. Greece needs innovators, and Greece needs investors, and it's urgent. Okay? Even if those guys were willing to move down that curve, it'll take them years. They're not going to do it in time. We don't have years. Okay? We've got startup Chile, who's going to pull people away. We've got Germany, who's going to pull people away. Okay? We're in trouble. That's why ΓΙΝΕΤΑΙ. I'm going to tell you about the new initiative that I've been dreaming about for a long time, and I've been working on for a long time. And yesterday, talking about journeys, the last few weeks have been the most incredible journey, and I was talking to John about this, that everything is just like falling into place remarkably well. And I want to take you through where it's at right now and describe to you exactly what it is. Okay? It's a microcosm of the future, is the best way that I can describe it. Okay? It's creating the future in a bite-sized chunk. Okay? It's about creating the Greece that can and should be. Okay? It's a physical place. It's not just an idea. It's not a website. It's a physical place. And I'll tell you about that. It's got walls. It's got doors. It's an incubator for innovation. It's a showcase for the world of what Greeks can do and what the future looks like. And it's inspiration within Greece. Because we said Greeks need inspiration, and they're not getting it from Mr. Bangalos. The people who live in this place, who work there, are innovators, creative services. I'll talk more about these, by the way. There's a hard and soft power balance. So on the one side, you've got real engineering, technical innovation, scientific innovation. You've also got dolmades. Okay? By that I mean food, fashion, design, art, architecture. Okay? There's a conference center. This should be the hub for really cool conferences, which showcase and inspire. And there's exhibition space. Okay? Exhibition space is important. We're a country full of inspiration. We need to be present. The other things inside this place are investors, mentors, and advisors. You can't change the way that government works in Greece overnight. So the advisors are there to give you legal and tax and financial advice on how to make your way through it in the most effective way. We ain't going to change anything overnight. It accepts the status quo. It says, we've got that to work with, let's make it happen. Okay? They're also corporate sponsors. Okay? They're also corporate sponsors. For example, I've been speaking to a very large global technology giant who wants to turn this into a technology showcase, a global technology showcase, to showcase the very best of what's happening today in technology. And they'll put their name on it. And I want their names on it. It's a private initiative which will hopefully grow into a public-private partnership. My experience tells me that if you start private initiatives and they're good, the public comes along. If you go to the public sector and you say, I've got this idea, it's too much work for them. It's way too much work for them. Okay? Και γι' αυτό δεν γίνεται. Let me give you some sense of what this place is all about. ΓΙΝΕΤΑΙ. First of all, it's a global showcase. It's got to be a global breakthrough. All right? We need the world to say, wow, something's happening in Greece. Okay? The world's got to say it. It's got to be located in Athens. That's the capital. It's got to be located there. The logo is inspired by three things. It's a Google place marker, which I guess we've all seen on Google Maps. It's also a light bulb. It's also an olive tree. Okay? All of these are ideas of growth, of expansion, of ideas, of identity. Okay? It's next to the sea. In Athens, what we tend to do is we say, hey, we want to be in New York. And we go and we build like lofts in the middle of the city. Forget about it. Right? Forget about it. I see Chrysanthos here smiling. He's got the most amazing place called Island, right, which is on the sea. It's amazing. That's where it's got to be. Chrysanthos, I'd love to take... Would you give me Island for this, please? It would just be amazing.
Or the next innovation conference.
Or the next innovation conference. It's got to be next to sea. Because we are Mediterraneans, right? We're not New Yorkers. This is the location. It's the old Hellenikon airport. I've had extensive discussions with the company running this huge piece of land. Huge, by the way. It's 3 times the size of Central Park, to give you some dimension. The whole of Monaco fits inside there. And somebody wants to turn it into a big park. I wonder if they've checked the bill for maintenance on a big park of that size. So the location is there, and it's specifically up there. There are 3 old hangars there, which were built during the 30s and the 40s. They're the most beautiful structures you've ever seen in your life. They're beautiful. Huge aircraft hangars. I'm going to show them to you. There they are. There are 3 of them. This over here is going to become a museum of architecture. It's already been earmarked for that. The middle one is available, and that one over there is available. My preference is the little one at the top, which is just beautiful. I'm going to show it to you in a second. Just beautiful. By the way, the master plan for this development calls for this area here to be green parkland. So these will land up in the middle of green parkland. Okay? And they're protected buildings, they're listed. So they can't be destroyed. That's the one. That's what it looks like right now. It's an old Second World War hangar. The one next to it's got some bomb holes at the top. That's what it's like inside. It's 15 meters high, and it's 60 by 60 meters in size. 15 meters is like 50 feet. 60 meters is like 200, I guess. It's big. It's big. This is, I used to work for TBWA. This is our agency in Venice, California. This was done by Frank Gehry. And it's got to have this kind of philosophy of architecture. It's got to be a really cool place that the whole world's going to say, wow. Okay? Inside, it's inspired by that. It's inspired by that to produce that kind of feeling. Okay? Or those kind of feelings. These are benchmark creative workspaces. Google's multiplex is on there. TBWA Shy Day is on there. The coolest spaces in the world are on there. We've got to create something cooler than this. Okay? The idea, by the way, is to use Greek architects working in collaboration. They'll probably kill each other in the process, but anyway. The slogan, a place for ideas to grow, and I've put the ID in a different color because it's a place for ideas and identity to grow. We've got to get back the identity of being innovators. We're idea people. That's who we are as Greeks. I want to show you this.
The West Coast headquarters of leading global ad agency TBWA Shy Day opened in 1998 in a large renovated industrial warehouse in Los Angeles. 10 years later, we take a cinematic look at their evolving creative culture. In 1998, the intention was to create a kind of advertising city, a creative village, unifying the 450-person community. In the subsequent 10 years, the agency has doubled in size within the same footprint and remains a vibrant community producing some of the world's greatest creative advertising.
For guests coming in the gatehouse, you're surprised as you walk down this tube, you can't see anything, and you step out and it's just this giant space filled with colors and shapes, and your line of sight goes all the way to the end of the building. Nothing really interrupts your line of sight, so you can see the spaciousness. It's fun to watch people walk in the building. You can always tell someone who doesn't work here because they walk around like this. For the first 10 minutes, they don't even talk, they just look. You can see them trying to take it in and see everything.
I think it works great in terms of the results. And the results, if you look at the creativity in terms of awards and the quality of work that we're doing, I think it really supports that. The whole genesis for this space was really more of a advertising city concept, and you can tell by just looking around the building that it's based upon the concept that it's a city. And, it was really the outgrowth of, I think, a lot of programming that Clive spent a lot of time, just really getting to understand our company, the culture, how we work, the environment, and I think all that planning and understanding up front paid off.
So that gives you an idea of the philosophy behind the space, okay? So it's really a universe called the hangar, and inside that, there's the future, a microcosm of the future, okay? I want Monocle to write this kind of stuff about it. The rebirth of creativity, this is where we want to work. Monocle reports the ΓΙΝΕΤΑΙ Project in Athens. If they say that, you're the coolest place in town. Not in town, on the planet. Okay? That's what we're going to aim at doing. The coolest place on the planet. Yesterday there was a section on, I can't even say that word. Philanthropreneurism. I did it. And this is actually what it's all about, okay? This is actually what it's all about. And I want to just explain to you how this thing will come into being. First of all, this quote here from Richard Branson, which I think is just spot on. The boundaries between work and higher purpose are merging into one, and doing good really is good for business, okay? It really is good for business. We've got a wacky thing in Greece. We've got the most conservative left wing in the world, right? This guy's unbelievable. And somehow this idea of, being creative is not a cool idea, It's like, you're not supposed to make money, okay? This is an environment for money making. Let's just be very clear about that. But the environment is built up philanthropically. And let me explain that. It is established through philanthropy, okay? In other words, the warehouse, the hangar, the architecture, the building is financed philanthropically in order to create the perfect microcosm for business through innovation to take place, okay? There's a fund inside there called the ΓΙΝΕΤΑΙ Fund. And I'm very, very happy to be able to tell you that even though it's relatively early stage on this, that a certain amount of money has already been committed, and it's quite substantial. I can also tell you that International Life, which is one of the largest Greek insurance and financial services company, not only believes in this idea, they committed to it with hard cash. That's owned by the Bravos family. I can also tell you that Mesirow, Chicago, financial services company, is committed to assisting with the establishment of this fund. And there are two gentlemen sitting right there, John and Alexander, who are the managing directors of Mesirow here in New York, who will be assisting in the creation of all of this. They've already been helping a lot in terms of setting up what this fund is all about. I'm not a finance guy, I'm pathetic. Thank you very much, guys. And something I'm really psyched about is this. John. John has agreed on two things. Number one, the very first International Innovation Accelerator will be held at ΓΙΝΕΤΑΙ. It's the very first one, okay? Innovation Accelerator is something that is done by the National Science Foundation, which is the most remarkable institution. 196 Nobel Prizes have come out of that foundation alone, which is more than Brazil, Russia, India, China, and I should add South Africa put together. Those are the BRICS nations, okay? And the BRICS nations are aggressively pursuing innovation right now. John has also agreed, and I'm really psyched about this, to be an advisor to the project. John, thank you very much indeed. Just to give you status on a couple of other things, I'm holding conversations with a lot of major corporations, either to come in as investors or as sponsors. I do want sponsors. I think we want to showcase this as much as possible. We want to get it out there, okay, big time. In terms of philanthropy, setting up the thing, there are a couple of options, and they're all being examined right now. Advanced stages, I should add. The one is through some of Greece's leading philanthropic foundations, and the other is through corporate donations. But that's pretty much advanced at this point, okay? ΓΙΝΕΤΑΙ.